What would you move? Why would you be moving the 11th pick in the draft? What would the goal be for that?
To maximize what you think a healthy Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler when he comes back can do. And Raymond Ritter at every turn has stayed consistent in telling you, Evan, and myself, and anybody that will listen, the Warriors' record when Jimmy is healthy. You could say that's not real life. That's a stat, but it doesn't apply. But if that mindset is upstairs, they might feel like, you know what? We don't have time to get pregnant. We need somebody that's already going to hit the ground and running. We don't need to change diapers. If we can go out and use this 11th pick with some other capital and some players and get a Giannis, I feel like the Warriors think right now, Steiny, maybe they don't win it, but they could get damn close.
The Giannis pursuit took a monster hit yesterday. There's no doubt about it.
Gotcha. Well, that's another part of it. Yeah.
To me, if you had a top 4 pick, Giannis was a possibility. With the 11th pick, I don't see it.
I didn't even want Giannis with a top 4 pick. That's how I get,
Well, that's good. That's good because you probably won't get him now with the 11th pick. But I don't know, man. I'm watching the Wolves, and I'm watching the Spurs, and I'm watching the Thunder. And
I hear you, man.
I understand that when you finish 10th in the West, the first goal is to move up, to try to get to 7 or 6 or 5. But to my way of thinking, even if you can get up to 6 or 7, you are not even close to where these other young teams are. And trying to work your way up that ladder with older guys who are only going to be here for a year or two, and that I don't have a lot of faith in that they can leapfrog, 5 teams in the West, whether they get a guy like that or not. So then what do you do? What do you do if you realize that there's not a move or two out there that can put you up in the top 4? I guess you take what you can get and you make a move that can get you into the top 7, but I don't really know where you're going that way.
Yeah, and I hear you. But to me, it's what I feel like I'm closer to it in regard to the mindset, because Steph Curry, Draymond Green, I expect him to be here for the foreseeable future. They're never going to take a back seat. So what do you do, Sonny? You just ride and try to get to the destination called the playoffs and hope. Like right now, I know you think I'm joking. This number 11 pick it's going to help, you hope, and then it may help you pull off a trade. But right now, when I hear the word in the team's name, Golden State, our team, my team, the Golden State Warriors, unfortunately, you are a slave. We are a slave to the health of one Steph Curry. Like, I was thinking about that driving in. As he goes, we go with what we have left. He has to. It is a mandate, and there's nothing we can do to predict it. He has to remain healthy by the time the playoffs come. One, to give us a chance to where we can get out of this cockamamie play-in. But as he goes, we go, and you try to want to enhance that. You might want to alleviate some of the burden and stress, and that's why if you could pull off a Giannis or something remotely close, you do that. But that's how I'm looking at this Warrior thing. The draft, I'm going to the 23rd, Evan, I think, told me June, somewhere around there. I'm going to be locked in. But, Steiny, we are going to go as far as Steph Curry can take us. And last year, he couldn't take us far because of the hammy, and we saw and paid the price of what happened.
So
that's just it to me.
So when when the Warriors were in their heyday, let's say 15, 16 to 20, and let's say you were another team in the Western Conference. All right, who were their rivals? Houston?
Rockets.
Clearly.
Memphis for a little bit.
Okay, so if you're Houston and you're Memphis at that point, you're probably saying, how do we get over on these guys? And I get it. Those teams could try to make moves to be better than the Warriors. But what about the teams that are, that were 9th in the West at that point?
Like the Spurs.
Whoever was 9th.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Like the 9th team in the draft, the 9th team in the West wasn't saying, you know what, in a year we can get over on the Warriors. It's a process. But to me, with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs and even the Lakers, not to mention Minnesota, it's like we got to stop thinking a one-year process can elevate us into that group. And that's the mistake I don't want the Warriors to make. That's all. Thinking that, let's try to go from a 37-win team to a 48-win team, get into the playoffs and see that.
But Steiny, were we truly a 37-win team? Hey, it's on paper. I get it. But
what do you think you're going to be next year?
Like,
you don't have Butler and Moody for the half a year. So how many games do you think you can win next year realistically?
There's a lot that goes into that. How are we going to look? But the bottom line is, can you look me in the face and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda? And I guess that's where I'm operating from. And it'll cause us to fuss and fight. And it's all good. But I thought it was perfect up until Steph got hurt against Minnesota on why they went and made that trade for Jimmy Butler. And, we beat the Rockets, a young Rocket, frisky team, and we were set up to beat Minnesota. We didn't. But we know why the Warriors won 37 this year. And a big, big, big part of that was Jimmy Butler going down. And now there's a price to pay with that. But I'm saying all that and bringing that back up because I feel like we're about to run it back, start it over again, and hope that the health will go our way. Well, Jimmy and Moody come back when they come back, and somehow we got another star in here or mid-star that could take the burden off of Steph, and we win 40 to 45 games, 50 games.
40 games is you're not even back to 500.
But my thing is to give us a shot at the playoffs.
Well, 40 and 42 gets you into the play-in again. But what I'm saying is, okay, I'll give you it's fair. Are they really a 37-win team? All right, I'll give you they're not. They're better than that. But what about next year? Butler missed half last year. He's going to miss half next year. Moody missed, last fourth. He's going to miss at least half the season. Right. So.
But what do you think they're going to do from what we've seen thus far? I'm asking you, what do you think's even in the manual or the options? Steph's going to play 30 minutes. Trey's going to start and play 30 minutes, regardless if you like it or not. I think I know what to expect, barring some big things that could pop off in regard to NBA landmines, and that's if the Warriors decide to move this pick. But if you go get a youngster that's got promise, I don't feel any better thinking that youngster's going to come in and put his imprint in year one to the point to where, and I could be wrong, I guess with his help, we're going to be a playoff team, and when Jimmy and Moody get back, even if they don't, we'll be okay. That's not how I'm feeling, but that's what I feel like, all you can eat is what's in the refrigerator. And if you don't got much, those are your options.
I feel like this is how, and it's probably unfair, but this is how I can tell you're still, not you, but a lot of people, are clearly, I don't want to say in denial, but in a different, just still not there yet. And it's the 11th pick in the draft. And I guess what I'm saying is, when we talk about the 11th pick in the draft, and the first thing we say about it is, but Steiny, what's he really going to be able to do next year? You're kind of telling on yourself that you still think that they are poised to jump to 3. And it's like nobody wants to, if I said, it's almost like if I said this guy's going to be Klay Thompson, I swear to God, it feels like people would be like, oh boy, well, he's not going to be really good then for 2 or 3 years. It's like, okay, that's fine. So what? That's what happens to a draft pick. So the idea that they're even if they have the second pick, they might have to wait to some degree on their player, whether it's a week, a month, a year. It's like, why are we still in this mindset of, but this guy probably won't be able to help Steph next year? No kidding. That's what happens with a lot of rookies in the league.
Well, I'll say this for right now, in this example, and this point I'm trying to make, I bring up pods. And the reason I bring up pods, and I know people in the back are going to say, well, it was a need. But if this 11th pick was to get the opportunity that the pods got and the opportunity to contribute that pods got in year one, where he led the team in plus minus, then I'm wrong already.
Right. So if he comes in and has an impact similar to Pods, who did play a lot his rookie year, like
that's a bonus.
That wouldn't be bad.
Bonus, no doubt.
I mean, he's not going to be the difference in 12 wins, but maybe you got a player and all of a sudden in 2 or 3 years, you're like, this guy's going to be our starter for the next 10 years.